Hey everybody, I got some news about this truck. I just rolled 50,000 miles since I got this truck, since the beginning of May. I got a story about those 50,000 miles. I hope you want to hear it. Hit that subscribe button and sit back. My name is Kevin. I'm a solo driver for CRETE, and this is the joy of trucking. And this is a 2019 Freightliner Cascadia. I got it like May 2nd-ish. And about the middle of September, around September 12th, I was looking at the odometer and realized I'd put 50,000 miles on this truck. So I sat down, I did a little math. It's like 19 weeks, 50,000 miles, comes to about 2,600 miles, right? Give or take. And I like to think I run almost 3,000 miles a week, but you got to realize in that time, every time there's home time, your average drops down to like 1,500 miles for that week because you're taking 3 or 4 days off. And every time, like we took a week off and went up to Canada in June. So right in the middle of that, there was a 0 week, nothing that whole week. It went Friday to Friday, actually, right on the pay period. Now I run 21 to 24 days at a time, and I'll be at home for 3 to 4 days. So on those weeks with 3 to 4 days off, the mileage is going to suck. So the average, because of those time periods when I was really low, averages to about 2,600 miles a week, but generally I do 2,800 to 3,000 miles a week. That's kind of the rule of thumb, which is good. That's good. I'd like to do more, but that's better than it was last year. In these 50,000 miles, I'm not unhappy with the way the truck has performed. I had one breakdown back in May where there was a light on the dashboard that went crazy and had to get to a dealer, and it turned out to be a NOx sensor. Well, I had the same problem on the Kenworth last year, and it cost me 3 days downtime, waiting for the part. I was sleeping in the truck at the dealership. It was kind of miserable, and it cost me 3 days productive time. With the Freightliner, the NOx sensor, it didn't take that long, 24 hours, and we were back on the road. So what we did basically was take our reset, our 34-hour reset at the same time. So I didn't really lose any productive time, but I did lose time on the road. But it was only 24 hours, not 3 days, so much better there. As far as that comparison, between the Kenworth and the Freightliner, in the year I drove that Kenworth, I was also down for a week with another mechanical problem, so there's a whole week of lost production time, right? Something else I've noticed too is tires. Over these last 50,000 miles, I've had 2 flats on trailers. One of them was a blowout, just bang. Nothing on the tractor. And I did get a new set of drive tires back in June, brand new. So I've had almost no tire problems. Last year, 130,000 miles with Werner, I'd say I had a dozen, maybe more tires. Often like a slow leak on a trailer. Sometimes you could pump it up, with the onboard compressor. Sometimes it just kept losing air. It was a puncture or a bad seal or a bad airline or something. But a lot of times I was stuck on the side of the road or at a rest stop waiting for somebody to come and change a tire, or I'd be at a Love's at the service bay getting a tire changed. Not so many problems with my time here at CRETE. Also on the Kenworth, I had a blowout on a steer tire. That was pretty serious, pretty nerve-wracking experience. And again, on the side of the road waiting for a repair. So I would say a lot less tire problems with CRETE. Now, it may be the quality of the tires that they use. It may be that they're just serviced more. With these T1s, they might be checking the tires more carefully here at CRETE. But I'm glad to say I'm not suffering downtime and repair time over tires. That's a good thing. Another thought, maybe it's just better treatment of the truck with more experience. Better driving practices. That could be something too. Not toot my own horn, but it's something to consider. In my rookie year, I had a lot of bad tires, and my second year, not so many at all. Now, speaking of downtime and mechanical difficulties with the truck and so on, I had that NOx sensor problem, cost me a day, and that's the only downtime for mechanical problems. But now, getting up in the mileage, I'm at like 431,000 miles. I've got a problem with the passenger door. It won't lock with the button or the key. Noticed a small fuel leak on the fuel line going into the number 3 cylinder. I've noticed an oil leak from the back end of the oil pan. Now these problems aren't causing me downtime. It's not like I'm stuck on the side of the road or whatever. and I'm going to try and deal with these issues on my home time. So we're going to take some time off this week. I'm going to drop the truck at a Freightliner dealership because these will be warranty issues. I was at a terminal last week when we were talking to them about the problems and getting a service done on the truck. The Freightliner mechanic was not going to be in to do this work, so it's working out good though. I would have been under load, sitting there at a terminal waiting for this guy to fix stuff and losing productive time. This way it's going to be during my downtime. So we're going to drop the truck off, head into the city, have some fun, see the sights, come back, and hopefully the truck will be all ready to go, you know, back to work. We'll see how that turns out though. I'll let you know. Next thing, I did also suffer a broken headlight and some cosmetic damage to the fender. Not a mechanical breakdown problem though. That was a little incident in a truck stop in the middle of the night when a fella cut the corner too close and hit me with his trailer. Did have to spend a little bit of time getting that headlight replaced, but it was at a terminal and I arrived and they fixed it while I was taking a shower. So again, no lost production time with that issue. So that's pretty good too. I wanted to talk about some of my experiences in these 50,000 miles. I gotta tell you, driving with CRETE like this, I've been to the four corners of the lower 48. We had 2 loads up into Boston and Massachusetts and New Hampshire. So we've been up in the Northeast, all the way down to LA, all the way across to the Southeast. I had a load near Orlando. In the first couple of days, I have even been up into the Northwest to Seattle, Washington. Never been there before, so real glad to check those off my list of states that I visited. I did Idaho, Oregon, and Washington all on that trip, and I've been to Montana too, up in that area. So yeah, I think personally in my life I've been to every state now in the lower 48. I'm real happy about that. It was something to see, you know, up in the Northwest Pacific area. You know, you see when you're driving through like the Rockies in Colorado and stuff, and you see this long line of mountains and it's all snowy and really grand. But when you're driving up in the Northwest, you're just, you know, you're going along and there's forest and lakes and rivers and stuff, and all of a sudden there's this big mountain all snow-capped sticking up out of everything. So I guess they were volcanic or something. So they're like very isolated. It's very dramatic. It's really a sight. You know, and you see snow on them and even in the summer. That's pretty cool too. So I'm really glad I got to visit those areas. Hey, one more thing about my 50,000 mile experience. I did also get to go up to Cheyenne, Wyoming and help out the Walmart dedicated fleet working out of there at the Walmart distribution center in Cheyenne. That was a new experience for me. Every now and then they ask us OTR guys to go up there and help them on their, like they get these busy periods, right? So I did a week of that. I got to run refrigerated trailers and do multiple stops delivering to Walmart stores. New experiences with that. CRETE tries to sweeten the pot a little bit with an extra 6 cents per mile and stop pay for those stops. But it was interesting work. It was an interesting week. I happened to be up there during the Cheyenne Frontier days, but I didn't take advantage of the one day off I had to go and check it out. But that would have been cool too. And funny thing, a few weeks later, I came up on the tablet once again, asking me if I wanted to go back and do it again. So it was more than just that 1 week. I turned it down, but you know, I was glad for the experience and all that stuff, but I wanted to get back out on the road. And I might try it out again sometime in the future. You know, they get busy again, or try it out at a different distribution center with another dedicated fleet. That's another thought I had too. The experiences have been very good with the truck. I will say a couple of things though about the truck. I'm not knocking Freightliner. I just personally, I do prefer driving a Kenworth, and I think I was more comfortable in the Kenworth. So I hope I get another one someday and maybe compare, see if I don't have as many mechanical problems with another Kenworth, because that, to me, that's still a truck I really like. And when we had the Kenworth, I think having that window in the bunk back there was a really good thing, because you could get more airflow coming through. You're a little bit more comfortable, and it had a screen. You weren't letting bugs in, because now when I sleep with the windows open up front here. Sometimes you get mosquitoes coming in, and I will do that often because this opti-idle to me is disruptive. It's, you know, you set it up in the summer, it's hot, you want the air conditioning on, but the truck won't run all night, so you got to set up the opti-idle, and you know, set your temperatures and all that stuff, and you go to bed, and the thing starts up, runs for a few minutes, it shuts down. half an hour later or an hour later, it starts up and runs for a few minutes and shuts down. Well, if I'm on the top bunk, every time it stops and starts, it's just like somebody shaking me, trying to wake me up in the bunk. You know, it's not just the rumble of the engine after a while can be soothing, and you know, you'll forget it and you'll go to sleep, but then it shuts down and the whole truck shakes, and up there it's amplified. So I'm not happy with the Opti idle, and personally I'd rather just open the windows wide and go to sleep. But if the air conditioning is important to you, then that's not going to work. You know, some of those summer nights, it's, you know, in the high 80s or whatever, when you go to sleep, it's really difficult. Now we're getting into the fall weather, it's getting cooler, so I'm going to use the air conditioning less and less, so that'll be a little bit better. But I do miss that window back there for the nights when I'm just trying to sleep without air conditioning. Like I said, not knocking the Kenworth, but I have had less problems with the Freightliner, and I would like to get back into a Kenworth someday and make another comparison. That's the story of the last 50,000 miles. I'm glad you tuned in to hear my story. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. I'd like to hear some of your comments down below and see what you think of this. And hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and we'll see you down the road. Bye for now.